Okay, yeah. What made you want to teach?
Well, actually, I didn't want to be a teacher to begin with, but I realized that once I subbed a little bit, I realized that I did love children and I've just always loved learning, and I wanted to be able to project that to kids in the future. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to teach, is because I just loved learning.
How did you decide on like middle school and history, teaching those?
Well, good question. I'd always taught high school or college, and then when I came to Oakdale, it was going to have to be middle school, and so it was kind of like I just had to do it. But I would say that I love middle school the best.
What is your favorite part of your job?
Just the communication and the interaction that I have with the kids. You get to see them grow, and you get to see them learn, and it's just really fun to see them grow up and mature.
And then what is the most challenging part?
Challenging part. Probably trying to keep them motivated, especially because I teach social studies.
Yeah.
Sometimes that can be really boring. And so just keeping them motivated and happy and wanting to come back every day to class.
What type of things changed after COVID?
That's another good question. Well, when we were experiencing COVID,
Yeah.
we taught from home and remotely. And I think we just realized how valuable one-on-one interaction was. And so I think that made us all realize, how important it is to have those good, stable relationships with the kids, because, and when that was going on, it was really hard to teach remotely.
How did you decide to organize your classroom?
Are you talking about just
Like in general, like seating arrangements or the
okay.
decorations and all that?
Yeah, I usually let them sit where they want to sit to begin with, and then if I notice problem areas, I move them around and just see what works. It usually takes a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's usually how that works.
What was something that you weren't prepared for coming into teaching?
That's another good question. Good questions. I think it's just now the amount of just common sense things or things that kids just don't know, because it's not that they're not smart, it's because they don't read.
Yeah.
So it's really shocking to see just how many kids just don't come to school with the idea of loving to read or liking to read or being motivated to read.
How do you organize your lesson plans or time to plan them?
Lesson plans. I've done this long enough that sometimes I don't have lesson plans. I just go by the standards. I do go by the standards just to make sure we're covering all of our bases. But in social studies, social studies doesn't change.
Yeah.
But you have to be really sure with your lessons that those lessons are not, becoming stale. So I occasionally will change them up, but for the most part, kind of just do the same thing I've been doing.
How did you end up here, teaching in Oakdale?
So I was at Sunbright for 10 years teaching high school, and then I was at UT for 3 years teaching sport management class. And so I ended up here. They just called and said, "Hey, we have an opening. Would you like to come home?" And I was like, "Yes, please."
And then what advice would you give someone coming into the teaching field?
You better love it. You better take my thought of you get to do it versus I have to do it, because it is challenging some days. And you really need to wake up knowing that this is your calling and this is your passion.